Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. Joining me today, Dr. Jill Hubbard and Dr. Alice Benton. This is a taped program because we're enjoying Thanksgiving the day after. It is Black Friday. And as many of you know, Black Friday is the day that you should spend giving as much as you can to the ministry you love the most. Anyway, that's not a bad idea, but actually Black Friday started out of Philadelphia. It was a term used to discover how congested everything was when the shoppers came out the day after Thanksgiving. And then, of course, it has now come to mean that a lot of people, well, they don't really get in the black in whatever venture they're in until people start buying for Christmas and stuff on the Friday after Thanksgiving. Well, you'd think it'd be called Green Friday. But whatever it is, we hope and pray that you don't get stompled, trampled, or anything like that in getting that bargain that you're looking for. And if you're shopping online and it happens to involve Amazon, don't forget that, what is it, smile thing you do where
that's right, Amazon Smile.
You can designate New Life as a place that would receive a portion of what you are spending. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Hope we had very few chokings on turkey bones, things of that nature. Hope that somehow salmonella avoided visiting your family. Let's go right to the calls. And how about we go and we just go ahead and talk to Irene from New York, New York. We love talking to people from New York, New York. It's not redundant. Hi, Irene. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing great, and God bless you guys, this beautiful panel that I have listened to for over a decade and inspired me to become a LCSW myself. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. How could we help today?
So, being so, I can help others, but I can't seem to help myself. I have one child. He's 25 years old. I love him with all my heart and soul and everything. I have a beautiful daughter-in-law who he married 3 years ago. And I have an amazing 6-month-old granddaughter who I am just crazy about.
So far, so good.
We've been having, we've been having little disagreements here and there about grandmom's input and what the kids want to do. The kids are really getting on my nerves. I love them, but they're getting on my nerves.
How are they doing that?
They'd rather Google information than to take grandma's input or advice. So, for example, latest thing, they told me that they wanted a walker for the baby. I got her a nice, expensive, well-reviewed walker, and yesterday, and it got here in the mail because of, Black Friday and all that. Then yesterday, we don't think we're going to go for a walker because we Googled it, and it said it's not good for the baby's joints. Like, are you kidding me? Like, so I buy gifts. They're rejected because if Google said it's not good, then it's not good. Compared to grandma's been on them, my son's been on them, my brothers and sisters, there's nothing wrong with them. And I'm like sending also reviews and, you need to respect our parenting. I'm like, but I'm a parent too. I'm a parent and I'm a grandparent.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do.
Beautiful kids.
I hear you. We got to go to a break. There's music playing. That means we have to go to a break. So I think I know what you want, but I'm going to talk to you about what you really want, and I hope it's going to help. You're listening to New Life Live. You could watch us on YouTube, New Life Live YouTube channel, a lot of other things there. You can go to newlife.com and watch or listen. You can also get the New Life app downloaded at the App Store where they sell apps. We give ours away. We'll be back right after this.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, I completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Dallas December 3rd through the 5th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. We're talking with Irene. It's the battle of the G's, Google versus Grandma. and I want to help you. Irene, I think what you want is you want these kids to respect you and hear that you've been through this and to honor you as a grandmother. But I think what you really want is you want to be a part of your grandchild's life. And I have seen this over and over again where especially the daughter-in-law says, honey, we just can't let your mother be around our child anymore. And the regret over anything said other than what a beautiful baby, I love this baby, I want to be with this baby, the regret is tremendous. And so I am going to suggest to you that you give up giving them any advice on anything, unless they started to do something, which doesn't sound like they are, really damaging to the child. But they're talking about whatever's in the best interest of the child. They're looking at stuff. They want to be good parents. You just have to let some things go so that you don't hit that tipping point that some do, and now they can't even be part of their grandbaby's life. Jill, Alice, any comments here?
Irene, I totally get it. I mean, you have spent your whole life doing the thing that they're just starting out to do, and you didn't suddenly become dumb after all these years, right? And so it is really frustrating when kids, you've got kids here mid-20s, when they're not honoring that and all that wealth of experience that they could have at their disposal. But the funny thing about leaving and cleaving, it's like every generation has to figure out some things for themselves, and they need a sense of feeling like they are autonomous and independent. And they actually, I think, would want you to respect them in their new role. And see, you do have all this experience. And so, especially with daughter-in-laws, I think you have to be very careful because it's not an equal peer-to-peer relationship. It's really easy for you to be in that authoritarian position and them to feel criticized or not valued or not seen as knowing. And because they're more fragile in that area, and especially as a new mom, they feel more insecure. They need a lot of encouragement and a lot of praise and a lot of deferring to them.
I guess that's where I'm confused on. Because I'm still his mother, and I'm her mother-in-law, so I don't know how to. Do I not mother? Do I not grandmother?
Well, here's the thing. You know what?
No, you don't. No, don't mother.
So Irene, I tend with my kids, I get really excited about things, and my kids will go, Mom, take it down a notch. Yes. Right? And so, Irene, you need to take it down about 5 notches here in terms of the energy. And with a son, and I'm already preparing myself, it already grieves me. You are no longer in the number one position. I mean, there's even, I forget where it is, but Solomon's mother, when she's handing him over to his bride. His wife now is in the number one female position. You are in the back seat. You still get to be mom, you still get to be grandma, but you defer to her. And you come along as someone who is supportive, and if they ask you, you offer. Or you say, I have some input if you want it, but if you don't, I totally trust you guys.
I wouldn't even say that.
Okay. Yeah, maybe scratch that.
I think that's too,
Okay.
it's just, you're just happy to be there. And
it's hard.
If they ask you a question, you answer it honestly, but tilted toward you love what they're doing as parents and all. And that's how we stay able to influence them as a grandparent. What's done with your son is done. And I want you more involved with the grandchild than with your son at this stage.
And Irene, consider giving gifts of money and gift cards rather than objects, because it's just so ripe for that rejection and the hurt, and then you probably withdraw, and it's hard to be in relationship with your daughter-in-law. So give gifts in a different way that protects your heart
or say,
better.
what do you want me to get? Right? And let them pick it.
We have a great relationship. Yeah, typically we have a great relationship. Good. Other than when we disagree about their parenting. And I don't know how many of you are parents, but in my heart, my son may be 25, but in my heart he's 5. In my heart he's 5, and I yearn for him. And this
I know.
Yeah, and that's something that you got to get beyond. You
got
to get beyond
Irene.
that.
You have to grieve that, and you have to take some of your longing to your friends. And I'm right there with you. My daughter's turning 25, and my youngest is a son. And I'm trying to take that step back. They want to be seen as adults. They don't want to be seen as the 5-year-old. They don't want to hear all the stories at this point.
If you go to the New Life Thesaurus, the synonym for suggestion is criticism. When it comes to an in-law suggesting something be different in the life of the child, of the new couple. They just see it, they just feel it as criticism. And so since you listen to New Life, obviously you are wiser than 90% of the people out there. We want you to have an influence, a major influence on this grandchild. So I hope that what we've said here is helpful. All right. How about we go to Patrice, Stone Mountain, Georgia, WNIV. That's the station. Hi, Patrice. How are you today?
Hello there. Can you hear me?
I sure can. Yep.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Hello to all, and thank you so very much for all the great work you do. This question is deep-rooted, so please tread lightly and give me your greatest hard answer. God chose me to be birthed into a loving African-American family. And I was born and raised and has always lived in the South. And now as an adult, I've seen so many hurtful experiences of inequality, injustice, just hurtful acts towards my race of people as a Black person. How do I know that God actually cares about my race of people? When I know that He loves everybody, but I constantly, for years and years, and I'm over 60 now, I've seen favoritism towards other race except mine, and more suffering towards my race.
Yeah.
I'm very hurt and torn by this, and I've gone to counseling, and I thank God for the counseling, but I just can't get healed, and I just can't get healed because it seems like even God, who loves all of us, loves certain race of people more than my race of people.
Yeah. I'm so sorry how you feel, and I think it's really tragic. I was working on a special Bible project, and I spent a lot of time just reading about the faith of some of the folks that were slaves and the treatment that they received from these people that would preach to them on Sunday. There was even a slave Bible that took out all the parts that suggested that anybody that was a slave had rights and privileges and was loved by God. Oh, just horrible stuff. And it was there being done by Christians in that day and age. And boy, am I grateful we're not there. We have a long way to go. You know, when I think about God's own people, the Jewish people, look at this horrific treatment. How does that make sense that God's chosen people were, essentially and have always been treated so unfairly and viewed as uniquely different? Well, if we were still in the Garden of Eden, that wouldn't be the case at all. This is what happens in a fallen world. And imagine you were one of those Israelites in Egypt 5 years before you were to be free. You were to leave. You have to be feeling the same way you do. It's just something that in this horrible world, God has not prevented evil. And evil has been done to your race. And I understand that. Somehow, and I don't know.
Understand it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. And Steve,
Yeah.
I appreciate your thoughts. And I don't think unless you are my race that you will ever understand what we really feel.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree with you, but
I agree.
I
with you.
totally understand
How
that.
hurt we are.
Yeah.
And,
But don't discount the fact that there are a lot of people that, even though they don't know the depth of that pain, we care deeply about it. It does matter.
Right, and
us.
I think people want to understand to the degree that they are able.
Yeah.
Right?
So here are your choices that are there, and they're just not fun choices. You either believe in a God that is a God of mercy and grace that has allowed horrible things to happen in a fallen world, or you reject God. You either live in bitterness and anger and resentment, or somehow, and it's a hard path, you get to a place of gratitude that we've made some progress, no matter how far we've got to go. I mean, those are horrible choices.
Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering, Patrice, if this relates at all. Sometimes I sit with people and they cry and they ask, why was I born into this family of really hurtful, dysfunctional people who abuse me, neglect me, dismiss me, and don't really love me? Why did I not get to be born into the family where there were parents that were loving and caring? And it's a really hard question to ask because no, not everything is fair. Not all circumstances are doled out equally. And some people have tougher journeys than seemingly other people, right? And it's hard to compare even, I think, people's hurts because it is so personal. And you're right, nobody can fully understand if they aren't in your shoes, that famous saying, right? And so, but I think, Steve, what you're saying, in spite of it all, God is still God. And sometimes that's what it comes to grieve those losses, those injustices. as not being okay, but that God is still in charge of the bigger picture of trying to redeem us all.
And Patrice, I think we also need to look at whether or not God raises up heroes and leaders to fight on behalf of his precious children. And I think that's part of what's happening in the United States right now, is a fight and an attempt to bring about more healing amongst the races, and yet Satan is hard at work to keep as much discord and strife taking place as possible. And you are right, I cannot understand what you have been through. We cannot understand what you've been through, but we can join together in trying to, and we can join together in prayer and in fighting to bring about more harmony in this world by his grace, because that's what he wants for all of us.
What a tragedy. And we're sorry for what you're having to go through.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
All right, we're back. So, I'm just wondering if there is anything else to be said.
Patrice, what do you think about what we've said?
Patrice, anything you'd like to say after having a break, time to think about things?
I know that you all are very knowledgeable, and I hear that through your advice that each of you gave to me. But unfortunately, none of that softened my hurt. I really want God to show me why he chose my dark-skinned race of people to do the most suffering in the world. I really need an answer to that. I understand we all grace and mercy, and I understand all what each of you said, but it does not ease the pain of the hurt that we have had to endure and still enduring because God chose us to be into this world and to be of a dark color.
Yeah. It's just something that nobody. And like you say.
I was born into a loving family. I was not abused. My parents worked very hard, and they raised us to the best of their knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So I was raised well and loved by my family, and I'm still loved by my family.
Yeah.
But I am terribly hurt and troubled by the slavery, and I know that others have been enslaved, but no one has had to suffer as long as my race of people has had to suffer and continue to suffer.
Well, that's why I wanted to come back and give you a chance to say anything else. We sure hear what you're saying, and like you say, we don't know what that's like. We have not walked that path with you. But I do hope that you could hear that we really do care, and that what we were trying to say, it wasn't really advice. It was saying that every option in the midst of abuse and trauma and hurt, every option is hard. Very, very hard. And I just hope and pray that somehow you will find the answer you're looking for, and that it might lead you closer to God and not farther away from God. All right, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you need some help, I'm going to send her Healing is a Choice and take your life back. Let's go to Rebecca, St. Louis, Missouri. KHCI is the station. And hi, Rebecca. How are you today? How could we help?
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for taking my call. I'm so excited to talk to you all.
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm gonna keep this. It could be a really long story, so I'm gonna try to get straight to the point. I'm getting married. My fiance and his family don't get along very well. He has actually told me that he wants to stop communication with his mom completely, and he wants to uninvite her to our wedding. I just don't know how to handle it from my position. Mm-hmm. We have kids also, so she has grandkids through us. And so she constantly is trying to contact me, and I'm trying to see his point of view, and she does make me angry too. I'm still trying to be nice and godly to her, and I just don't know how to balance it.
Rebecca,
I don't know who I'm supposed to please here, you know. So
is she
just need some advice.
Is she abusive?
They had a really rough childhood. He has a lot of childhood trauma from his mom and his dad. He's been through therapy, and his therapist, we're in our 30s now, and his therapist has told him to have these conversations with his mom. He has the conversations, and she will say things like, "Oh, you and your sister need to get over this. This was so long ago." And she makes remarks that are very rude and just says things that most parents shouldn't say.
She's emotionally unsafe to be in at least deep conversation with. Is she active in addiction?
Yeah. She is, well, she's a hoarder. She doesn't take drugs that I know of. But she opened up to me one day and told me that she was having an affair with a man, and that kind of made me angry because I didn't want that around my family. It just showed me I didn't feel like she was going to be too. Sorry, I'm getting emotional.
It's okay.
But they've just had a really hard life with her. So, like a couple weeks ago, she was at our house visiting, and I have a baby that was sleeping, and I was rocking the baby, and she said to me, "Go put that baby down." And I was like, "No, I'm finished. Like, I want to hold my baby." And she said to me, "Well, you're a better mother than I was. Well, I didn't even want to be a mom." And she said that in front of my fiance, her son. And she says things like that all the time. So.
All right, I'm going to give you some help here because it's not a simple answer. It's a complicated answer. It's a both and kind of answer, and I think it's going to help you. I hope so, and I'm sorry for what you're having to go through. You're listening to New Life Live. We'll be back. right after this.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Southern California February 25th to the 27th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Rebecca, I just want to say this, then I'll turn it over to Jill and Alice. But it does sound like that it is warranted that there be some restrictions, or a lot of limitations here with her and the grandkids and you. You know, this is not healthy at all. But I think it would be a problem if you don't talk to your husband about how are you going to resolve this inside of yourself no matter what your mom does. If you hold a grudge against her, it's kind of setting you up to hold a grudge against me maybe one day. And if you don't forgive her for the way she raised you, which sounds like it was horrible, you're teaching our children how to not forgive us in the future for whatever mistakes we're going to make with them. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. But I guess my question is about what about the ongoing
Right,
things that she does, like in the present.
It's hard to forgive when something's ongoing. We can forgive what's already happened, but sometimes it becomes a daily process. You can forgive with boundaries. And for your husband to learn to assert himself, Mom, when you make those hurtful comments, it's not okay. Or, Mom, we're going to have to ask you to leave if you're going to make statements like that.
Or ask her to leave.
Mm-hmm. Or ask her to leave.
And then now that you brought up such a horrific example of what was said, he needs to say to his mother, here's what you said when you were here, and you must not ever say things like that in front of our children again. And in fact, it's really, really not helpful at all to say them at all. It's hurtful. And so if you want to be part of our lives and the lives of your grandchildren, that's something you're going to need to not do anymore.
And Rebecca, we almost always advise against ceasing all communication with a parent, but rather limiting exposure to the parent as much as is necessary so that the little interaction that happens can be freely given so that there can be some genuineness to that interaction. And if that's only a card, if that's all your son can do, we still have to keep in mind, how can we honor the position of parenthood? And it's usually not by ending all contact completely forever.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
and that's what I was mainly concerned about, because he wants to just get her out of his life, and I'm the one saying, I don't think that's a good idea. I feel like, what if something happened to her? Wouldn't you have regret? Or I don't know. And he's really resistant and pushing, like, just stop talking to my mom. Don't answer her phone calls. And that hurts my heart as much as
and it doesn't do him the same good it would be, like what Steve was saying, to let her know how much she has hurt him.
Yeah. So it's complex here. It's we don't think that she's healthy to be around, but we also think it's going to be unhealthy for you and your kids and him if you're not suggesting you have to figure out a way to resolve this within yourself. You can't just walk away from her and be angry the rest of your life. That's a really, really crummy option. That's what I'd be sticking with. Okay? I would even have him listen to this program on newlife.com. He can go there, YouTube, whatever, and click on this and hear what we have to say, because like we are saying, she's unhealthy. But he's got to get healthy himself. Otherwise, she's going to have real estate up inside his head that is deserved or reserved for you, not mama. Okay?
Thank you so much, because that already is happening. He already has so much anger.
So I'm going to send her forgiving our fathers and mothers.
Yes.
Boy, do you ever need
a good one.
You only have to read half of that. All right. Thank you for calling. Coming your way. And coming our way, Larry Sonnenberg's in the studio. Hey Larry, how's it going?
Thank you. I just want to encourage guys to come to Every Man's Battle, because next Thanksgiving can be their most thankful Thanksgiving they've had, because they did. They're missing this month because it's not until after Thanksgiving. But here's what Ethan said after he went. After attending this workshop, I'm hopeful. I sabotaged my marriage of 18 years regularly throughout, without only brief periods of sobriety from my 40-year addiction to porn and sex. I'm far more hopeful than I imagined was possible. I've learned more about the nature of my addiction, the extent of my woundedness, and the impact of my sin on my family, friends, loved ones, and community than I believed possible in a short amount of time.
That's so good.
I'm encouraged to pursue God in true intimacy with my wife. And to face the mess and hurt that I caused in my past pursuit of sin. I leave Every Man's Battle known by a group of men and knowing a group of men who have my permission to speak into my life and hold me accountable for my actions. And I've been given permission and the honor and privilege to speak into theirs. I experience the grace of God at Every Man's Battle. So
awesome. And so many men don't come, they think they're going to feel shame, not the grace of God.
Right.
And I want to speak to the fathers as a daughter, that the work you do on yourself and your marriage has untold benefits to your children. And if you will not do the work, it has untold curses on your children and negative effects. So what a gift you could be giving to your families for Christmas if you're willing to do this.
Great, Alice. Thank you for saying
Very
that.
good.
Yeah.
Very
really
important.
good.
Yeah, thank you.
Folks, if you can support a ministry that wants to help men like this, and we help the wives too, we help couples. I mean, we just want people to have a life that's different than what they've been struggling with.
That is what we're about.
Yeah.
It's transformation, not feeling better. It's about transformation.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
Help us and get yourself to Every Man's Battle, please. And Restore's coming up beginning of next year also. It'll be great. Let's go to Rae Lynn, Kansas City, Kansas. Podcast is where she listens. Rae Lynn, how are you today? What's going on in your life?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Good. How can we help today? What are you thinking about?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. It's kind of complicated.
Okay.
I was part of a church, and I was very shocked. The pastor he made sexual gestures to me. I don't know how else to put it, but to say that. And
okay.
I was really surprised. And I was hurt, because we had served at this church for 8 years, and it was in the inner city. And so it was a really tough thing. And my husband confronted him, and he denied it. And we stayed for like 8 months to see if he would repent, and he never did. And he still hasn't. It's been 3 years, but I hadn't even thought about this at the time, but I didn't tell his wife, and I feel like I should have now. I guess at the time I thought that her husband should do that, but I had so many fears and everything. It was a very difficult time for me. I've been to counseling and everything. And now I'm wondering, should I go back and tell her? I was part of a 12-step group, and they were talking about, going back and making things right with someone that you might have offended or...
Yeah. Go ahead, Alice.
Rae Lynn, if I were his wife, it would be horribly disruptive to hear that from you. It would turn my world upside down, and I would want you, and I would want you to do it. Because you are so very likely not the only woman he made sexual advances towards. And I would want to know the truth about my husband so I could make decisions. Now, she may not have an appreciative response to you, but it is a healing truth, a holy truth that needs to be shared.
And if you don't feel like doing it, I'll make the call myself, because it makes sense that you didn't feel you could or wanted to, that you even stayed at that church 8 months, because when a spiritual leader does something like this, it paralyzes you. And now you've grown and you're looking back, and it is not too late. And again, we said this before, it's a dot that you're going to provide. Even if she says, don't call me, I hate this, I don't believe you. But another woman, and then another woman calls, and you got 3 dots. Eventually, people start to say, maybe there's something here. So I absolutely would call. Jill, you have something you wanted to say.
I'm thinking maybe you should start by writing a letter and then decide, do I send her a letter or do I call her in person? But to put your thoughts down on paper so that you can tell her the truth in a very loving way.
And I love the part of including that you're in a 12-step program and you've been encouraged to make things right that you didn't feel right about in the past. It's really good. All right, you're listening to New Life Live. If you need some help or you can help us, it is exactly the same phone number, and yet we give you letters, but it's a number, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Please call us. Let us help you. We love helping people. We'll be back after this.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Southern California February 11th to the 13th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Mylan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live. This is Terry McIntosh. I wanted to let you know about two special offers that are only available in the month of November. The first is a free download of 5 irrefutable truths that can transform your life. When you embrace these truths, you can expect that things will change. Just visit newlife.com and click on the banner to get your free download. Also, we have free shipping and special pricing on several products. We're making it easy for you to treat yourself or maybe take care of some holiday shopping. Visit newlife.com and click the banner for more details. Now back to New Life Live.
Thank you, Terry. Really glad that Terry's here. He's been here. He has been the most valuable employee of the year every year that we've given that award. We did it one time, and he got it, and so we're grateful to Terry. He is an amazing man. All right. Anything else we want to say to Rae Lynn or about Rae Lynn's situation other than if something happens with a pastor, do whatever you can, talk to somebody so that you're not letting a guy continue to abuse somebody out there and do what was done to you. Anything else you want to say?
Well, I'm glad that she called. I think it's really important to get wise counsel on that. And it sounds like she's in therapy too. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, here we are. Our last caller on Black Friday is going to be Laura from Stafford, Virginia. She listens on the New Life app, and we're glad that she does. Hi, Laura. Welcome to New Life. How you doing today?
I'm okay. Thank you for taking my call. I'm a regular listener, and I'm a member and give regularly to you and appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you. We will try to be especially nice to you. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm going to get right to my question, so I know your time is limited. So I just want to know how you can reestablish a relationship with your spouse of 41 years when the feelings seem to be gone.
Okay, and is he? Are you guys still together? Or are you separate? What's going on?
We are still together. We've been together the whole time. We've never separated. We actually went to your intimacy in marriage, and I thought that things were going to change. We've been to a couple different types of those things, hoping that things will change. My husband is definitely an avoider all the way, and he'll do things for a little while. If I, threaten that things aren't going so well, maybe I shouldn't be here, and he'll step up to the plate, and then a few weeks later, it'll just be back to normal. And he's lied to me our entire marriage, so we have that, and I have a hard time trusting him.
Well, sure. Now, let me ask you, when you left that intensive, what did you guys do? We always encourage people you need to follow up. This is just a weekend. Did you do the marriage counseling? And if you did, how long did that last?
We were in marriage counseling when we actually went to the event. Since then, I have continued counseling. He has quit counseling. He was going to go to an individual counselor on his own. He was dealing with smoking and other things like that, and he was trying to quit. And so far he says he's quit, but he says that a lot of times, and I find out he hasn't, so I don't really know. But he stopped going to his counselor some time ago. I've encouraged him to continue going to counseling. We just got back from a vacation, and I told him that I thought things would be different on the vacation, and they weren't. And I asked him what he was doing. He says, well, it's not all my fault. I said, absolutely not. It's not all your fault. But this is what I'm doing, and I listed out all the things I'm doing, Bible studies and counseling and prayer and all that stuff for our marriage. And I said, what are you doing, that you've continued to do? You do things for a little bit, and then you stop. You don't follow through. And to your question, Steve, I'm sorry, quickly, to your question, I did, when we got home, we did the book, the workbook and the How to Love book. And I tried to continue to make those things happen, but he was resistant to continuing the
That's just so sad.
the circle. Yeah.
Laura, what's the most significant thing he's been lying about through the years? What's been most hurtful?
He's lied about everything from where he's been to who he's been with, and that was early on in the marriage. And then mostly the last 10 or 15 years or so, I would say it's been about smoking, which is ridiculous because I told him I'm not his policeman, and I don't really care if he chooses to kill himself. He has emphysema and
Laura,
COPD.
I'm going to go back to what you said before. The people he was lying about, was it with females as well? And did you have a concern about a level of infidelity?
There was infidelity early in our marriage on both sides. Me, very, very early on, like within the first month, because he went away. He was in the military and he went away, and I don't know, it was weird. And then
I've got to go.
Infidelity later.
We're out of time, but there's an old movie title, and it's entitled "He's Just Not That Into You," and I think that he is proving to you over and over again he's not willing to do anything to come closer to you or to win.
Well, I wonder if he's ever gotten over that first month of marriage.
Yeah.
That's a good
question. Because avoiders can often feel, humiliated, and that goes underground. So they avoid because they don't deal with their hurt.
And Laura, I'd have you prayerfully consider if you have done enough distance in addition to all the good work and all the ways you've tried to pour into the marriage. But God also warns us, if unrepentant sin continues despite all of these requests and attempts for help, then we've got to distance ourselves, emotionally distance ourselves, and sometimes physically. And that may be a component that you have not yet used to better protect your heart and to make your message clearer about what you need in the marriage.
Yeah. You cease to exist.
I definitely feel like...
You feel like what?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You definitely feel like...
I feel like I definitely have emotionally distanced myself because that's where I'm at now, trying to figure out how to love him. We're getting ready to retire, and I don't know how to move into this next phase of our relationship feeling the way I do right now.
Okay, so the emotional distancing thing is not really distancing at all. It's a parallel existence. The proximity is still there. You kind of have to step it up a little bit. If none of that has produced change, and you have to decide what is the next step beyond emotional distancing. For some guys, they can't handle that, and they come right back to you. But when they don't, what do you guys think is maybe the best thing she could do in 30 seconds?
I think there are two. One is getting very busy establishing life apart from him and letting him know, I want life with you. And if you get ongoing, consistent help, I would reconsider it. But until then, I have to pursue life as well. And if that does not work, then you might consider a period of separation for the purpose of reconciliation.
Yeah, I think that you guys are needing different amounts of closeness and connection. And he needs less than you do. So the person who needs the least often wins. But I think you have to say to him, that isn't enough for me. And I think, Laura, in terms of your feelings have waned because of the lack of emotional connection. Feelings can return if he would step up to the plate. And I think you need to let him know that that's what you're needing. You're needing him to step up.
And I'm going to say that if you can get him to come back to the intensive, then I'll take care of that fee for you. Because sometimes we need to go, see that nothing changes, and then you come back and you're able to talk in the group about, we walked out of here, and he went right back to what he was doing, or she. And then the real change can start to happen. If you need some help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Hope you have a great weekend this weekend. Please try not to spend too much money today on Black Friday. We love you, care about you. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.